everyone, my name is Alyssa, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about owls. Right now we are actually in the home of a family of great horned owls. I've been watching these owls for the past few months, so now that you're here, I'm excited to share with you what I've learned. So if you don't know what great horned owls look like, they're actually brownish gray in color. They have white on their chest usually, and they have very large, bright yellow eyes. And they have two ear tufts on top of their head which resemble horns, hence the name great horned owls. And the great part probably comes from the fact that they are so large. Their wingspans are actually 4 to 5 feet. So, now that you know what they look like, I'd like to start from the beginning of their life. So the mother and father owl found a nest. In this case, it was actually a hole very, very high up in the tree. And this was most likely an old nest of a squirrel, a hawk, or a crow. Owls typically did not build their own nest, but they just take over the nests of others. So all the owls had to do were just add a few feathers for warmth, and then the mother was ready to lay her eggs. She laid her eggs in the middle of January, so in other words, when snow still covered the ground and it was very cold outside, she was up in a nest keeping her eggs warm. During this time, the male was actually out hunting so that she wouldn't have to leave the eggs. So after a month, the babies hatched, and these baby owls are called owlets. And after 6 weeks, the owlets grew from the size of a baseball to the size of a basketball. So at this time, they were able to venture out of the nest, but they still couldn't fly, because if you've ever seen baby owls, I'm sure you can agree they sort of look like a cotton ball with a face. So they don't have any feathers at this point. So they need to be very good at climbing. So a couple things that help them to be so good at climbing are their talons and their beaks. They can grab a hold of trees with their beaks and their talons, and they flap their wings very, very hard, and they can climb, or they can walk right up the tree. So this keeps them off the ground and away from predators. So since they can't fly, they definitely can't do their own hunting, so the parents have to do all the hunting. And owls are actually birds of prey, which means that they hunt small animals. So these animals are animals such as mice, birds, or rabbits, and they need to have special skills in order to catch these animals. And one of those skills is to have such large eyes, so they can see so well because they have such a wide range of vision. They use binocular vision like we can. And also, they're able to turn their head very far from left to right. Their eyes are actually immobile in their sockets due to their shallow skeletal structure, but they have extra vertebrae. Vertebrae are the bones in our neck, which allow us to move our head back and forth. Well, they actually have twice the amount of vertebrae or bones in their neck, so their necks are very flexible. They can't turn them all the way around, but almost all the way around. So they can see in all directions when they're locating prey. Also, they can see in the dark very well because their eyes can gather so much light. So they hunt at night, which is called nocturnal. They're nocturnal because they hunt and they're most active at night. Whereas, of course, you and I, we're up during the day and we sleep at night. It's completely opposite for owls. They're hunting and up all night. Another skill that owls have is their excellent hearing. They can actually hear a mouse from 900 feet away. To put that in perspective, that's actually 3 football fields. So once they locate that mouse, they silently fly. They're able to silently fly due to the comb. Their feathers are like combs and they're very, very soft. So they can just glide through the air and the prey or the mouse can't even hear them coming. So then they lift up their talons, swoop down, and grab a hold of that prey. And now it's time to eat. So we need to remember that owls don't have teeth, so they can't chew their food like you and I. They're going to need to tear it apart and swallow it whole. So a lot of times then they have eaten a lot of fur and bones, and this material they actually cannot digest. So it comes out looking just like this. This is actually an owl pellet. So they spit this up. This is all the fur and all the bones. And it's really fun to pick one of these apart because you can see little skeletons and fur, and you can see exactly what that owl ate. So the babies will continue to depend on their parents throughout the summer for their food, but once the fall comes, then they're going to have to leave and find a territory of their own and start a family of their own. So today we've learned a little about great horned owls, what they look like. They're large size, grayish brown in color, large yellow eyes. They're the tufts on their head, which look like horns, also their fantastic hunting skills, their ability to see in the dark and in all directions, their hearing, and also their silent flight. So they are actually probably the greatest predators of the sky due to all these things. So I hope that you've learned a little bit about owls, and thank you so much for joining me today, and happy owl searching!